Federal government has commenced a revalidation exercise of the National Social Register as part of efforts to strengthen the ongoing conditional cash transfer program aimed at cushioning the impact of economic reforms. So far, a total of 2.3 million households have been confirmed and cleared for payment under the renewed scheme. The Director General of the National Identity Management Commission, Abisoye Koka Odusote, disclosed this at a recent press briefing held at the agency's headquarters in Abuja. The revalidation exercise comes amid concerns raised by the World Bank over the slow implementation of the cash transfer program, which was launched in 2023, following the removal of petrol subsidy and unification of the foreign exchange markets. The global financial institution noted that only 35% of the intended 15 million households, approximately 5.6 million, had received payment 2 years after the program was launched. The World Bank had approved a $800 million loan for the initiative. $530 million had been disbursed as of April 30, 2025. However, Koka Odusote, who is a member of the Interagency Task Force overseeing the identity verification process for the program, stated that the revalidation was being carried out under the National Social Safety Net project to ensure that only eligible Nigerians benefit from the government's palliative initiative. Also commenting on the issue, Special Advisor to President Tinubu on Economic Affairs, Tope Fasua, in an interview attributed the slow progress of the program to the need for biometric validation, a step he described as necessary to ensure transparency and prevent fraud. Let's hear from you, Mr. Judge. Are you part of the beneficial of the cash transfer?
That's what I wanted to say. I've not seen any of my friends. I don't know why they're not capturing me in the poverty cash transfer. Because as a Nigerian, I think I should be entitled to it. You know, the truth of the matter is that I am not very comfortable with this approach in terms of this cash transfer. I can see that the World Bank is partnering with the government, $800 million. How much are you going to give to each person? Maybe 50,000, maybe 100,000. And what would they do with that? Just eat and then that's it? Are they going to start up a business with 50,000 or 100? Let's say you give them 200,000. The approach of palliative, this palliative approach, you know, another form of palliative that you see that's very rampant is the share rice. And the question I keep asking, how come rice becomes the method to take people out of poverty? That when you share rice to people, you are giving them palliative. These people are not just suffering from physical poverty, mental poverty, which is the worst form of poverty. And in terms of this cash transfer they're talking about, what measures were put in place? How did they come up with the register of those who are poor? You know, how did they identify those who are in need of this money? How were they able to come up with the statistics and the data to identify those who are really poor? What I would have suggested, you know, I was speaking the other day on the radio and I talked about what we call poverty conditioning. A lot of Nigerians are poor, but there's what we call poverty conditioning. What is poverty conditioning? Is that if you don't address the root causes of poverty, even when you give the man money, he will still be continuing in that same cycle of poverty. So over the years, we've been sharing rice to people, and yet these people are still poor. The question that we need to ask ourselves is that the approach and methodology that we are applying to address the issues of poverty, are they working? Are they producing results? Are they giving us the dividends that we seek and desire? Are Nigerians better than they were many years ago? Or are they living improved? Is their lives improving? What I would recommend is that rather than just share this money as cash transfer, that $800 million should have been invested in 1, human capital development, 2, empowering them with the right skills, You give a man a cup of rice today, will you feed him tomorrow? Will you feed his family tomorrow? Will you feed his children tomorrow? Will you pay his bills? Will you pay his transportation bills? Will you take care of his energy costs? Are you really alleviating his poverty? What if the man you give 50 or 100,000 is addicted to gambling, and then he uses the money and he gambles it off? Tomorrow you'll be poorer, right? So we need to address this issue by one, tackling issues of mental poverty, which is a serious threat. You cannot bribe, you cannot use money to just wipe off the mental poverty like that because you give him more money. Two, invest this money on skills development. Train these people. Like if they use this 800 million, let's say you are looking at millions of households, and then let's say 1 million household, each person you empower them with skills. The one that wants to go into tech, you train them, and after maybe 6 months of training, that money you are just transfer as cash transfer, it becomes a startup capital. Maybe after you have trained him 6 months in a tech skill, you provide a laptop for him to go into the tech business. You give him some startup funds. Maybe the other person wants to go into fashion. After maybe 6 months or 1 year of training, you provide them sewing machine and all that. You are addressing their poverty situation, not just transferring 50,000 and 100,000 and you say you have done poverty alleviation. No, you are applying cosmetic treatment to a deep wound and you're not tackling the problem.
Okay, I wanted to raise out something that this initiative it's been on since 2023 when World Bank gave the directive, and then this had to be revalidated because World Bank had to come to raise concern over the implementation of this cash program. So looking at this situation, imagine those funds has been there all this while up until now. You know, in that aspect, and it's from the petrol subsidy and the foreign exchange unification of the foreign exchange market and all of that. That's where most of this, about the 800 million was gotten from, and I think about 530 million has been disbursed so far to those 2 million households. And you mentioned right ways that this funds would have been implemented. Looking at this palliative initiative from the federal government, you know, and you talked about the rice parts where oftentimes it's rice that's been given, and what's the other one? I think it's the Empower one time. Yeah, yes, there was another part, you know, and it's not always a poverty alleviation standpoint for most Nigerians. I do not want to bring it out of my mouth. I hope it comes out of your mouth. You know, what is the intention towards this, please? I think let's start from there, please.
I can't read the minds of those that are responsible for the disbursement or distribution of this money or sharing the money out. What I would say is that I talked about it last time when there was over 80 billion still chilling in somebody's accounts. I talked about the problem of greed.
And I recall how you just you were continuous with that.
You know, I sat down for many minutes to process the thoughts that the idea that someone should have 80 billion in a country with a lot of people poor, hungry, suffering, got public money. So now we're talking about poverty alleviation, and we're talking, even it is the World Bank that is reminding them. So why are Nigerians not asking questions? So that's why I thank God for programs like this. We are informing, educating, empowering, and we are causing a mental reawakening in the minds of people, equipping them with the right information and knowledge so that they can stand to ask the right questions, because it is our responsibility to ask our leaders. This money the partnership with the World Bank, what are you guys doing with it? And secondly, there's no effective communication. Like, we have distributed so amount of money to social household. You give an account. You have conferences, press conferences. Let the people be informed. Who are those people? Let them also come out. Pick out some people maybe from some of the regions who have benefited from this cash transfer. They distributed $500 million. At least they are human beings. They should come out and say, yes, I received so amount of money. This is what I've done with it. There should be a communication structure. There should be feedback from the people. What is our goal? What are our goals? What are the goals? What are the objectives? What are we looking at for? What do we want to achieve with this money? How can we address the problem of poverty? What is the target? You know, it's not just to cheer money out and say you are elevating people from poverty. What have we achieved with what we have cheered?
Okay.
What has a $500 million done? Have you taken more people? Me, I have not seen it. I've never ever received any call for such money.
Well, let's hear from Chibene, please. Have you received, since he hasn't?
Okay, I've actually heard about the news. I will not have registered for that.
Did you receive?
I have not
okay,
received.
Okay, just 2 million have. Okay, so
I just
it could
registered
be part of the
recently,
remaining 5.6.
Probably, I could be part of it.
Okay.
So I feel, I understand what he's saying. It's really very necessary that the country start looking at different approach in alleviating poverty, because the normal way they are using this word poverty elevation, they are using the wrong terms to elevate, because you giving someone 50,000 or 70,000, because I heard they want to give out 75,000 from what I heard. Giving out 75,000 naira won't even help, need to help nobody achieve anything. It's just money that they will just eat as normal regular money and it's finished. So I feel that they should start looking at a different approach on how to elevate poverty. Just like when Amici was in government, he built the ICT, River State ICT department. I don't know if you are aware of that place. That place has produced a lot of good people who are doing well in the ICT world today in our society.
Okay.
We have a lot of people who are doing well today in cybersecurity, a lot of people who are doing well in a lot of UI, UX and all those ICT, AI and all those stuff. Nigerians who are really doing well. There's even a friend of mine who is making millions today because of that ICT that was built by Amechi. Imagine such approach being more facilities like that, or they invest more in such facilities where they recruit citizens of the country to go learn skills, high income skills that will help them elevate them from poverty. Those money should be used for such activities. Imagine we have more other ICT departments who have companies who are also recruiting people and teaching them how to even make machines and make other sophisticated things to help the country grow, where we can start selling. Nigerians are people who are very smart when it comes to learning, and there's people who are very fast in comprehending, and they can be able to do exploits when given the opportunity to do it. So imagine the country invests in new approach, new things where they can elevate poverty.
Do you think most Nigerians, because this point both of you have raised, some people will find it accurate, some will not. Some will say, I prefer the cash transfer rather than the training, because what is the duration of this training?
Most people
and
don't
after
see.
this training, what is the possibility that I will be equipped with the necessary items, materials or tools that I need to enhance this training? So they will rather say, I've had a conversation with someone that said he was in a program, or what do they call that, when they invite people and the
Skills
government,
training.
yes, skill training and empowerment, where they gave out keke napep, sewing machine and whatnot. And he said that just there at the venue, most of these individuals sold them. Yes, imagine giving a sewing machine to someone who has never sewed before, or even though the person has sewed, that the person will be like, how do I get this done? How do I go about it? So they rather sell it. I'm not saying that the point you've raised is rather not necessary, but you know, what if on the other hand, some people will say, I prefer the cash rather than most of this skill acquisition that will be raised, or empowerment facilities or equipment. They rather want to prefer the cash, just like you applied. I'm sure if you were asked, so they were giving you a sewing machine, would you have taken it, or you prefer the cash? Because you said you applied for it, yeah?
Yeah, I applied, but personally, I want to take the sewing machine, because that if I have the knowledge about sewing.
Okay, if you never had the knowledge about sewing.
I won't want to take it. I want to go for what I have the knowledge about.
And what is it? That's the cash. Okay, yeah. I don't think you will have a choice over what you have the knowledge about in that instance.
What I can say is that I understand the concerns of people in terms of they don't just want the machinery, they just want cash and all that. The thing is that when you train these people, let's say 6 months, you're giving them a tech training, you're training them on tech. After the 6 months duration, you don't just let them to go off like that, because where are the jobs, right? You empower them. Maybe you train someone on a tech skill in a duration of 6 months. After the 6 months training, you give him a laptop that he can start with, and maybe and some startup capital. The cash is also important. I'm not saying the cash is not important. Okay. Now let's say you are giving 75,000 naira was given to you. What can you do with 75,000? Can you use it to start up a good business? Except maybe you want to start frying akara or something.
Do you know how much
even that you buy granola oil, you have to buy firewood, you have to buy that.
You have to even pay for a space.
What kind of serious business? What will the 75,000 naira do for you in terms of starting up a business? That's why most of them eat the money. They see that it's a government money, it's a free money. They eat the money. So the question I'm asking is, what result do they want to achieve if they are serious about alleviating or addressing the issue of poverty?
Okay.
So if you train them, equip them with the right materials, and give them startup capital so that they can start something.